Good evening. I'd like to call the City Council meeting of Monday, October 2nd, 2023 to order. If I can have our city clerk please call the roll.
Mayor Flores,
Present.
and Deputy Mayor Noble,
Here.
and Councilmember Tharp,
Present.
and Councilmember Duga,
Here.
Councilmember Diaz,
Here.
Councilmember Bousquet.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. Our next order of business is agenda approval. Before we do that, I'm requesting that we pull item 13. It should be coming back at a later time. And I'm also asking that we move into a special business, our first item that we recognize, National Custodian Day. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Yes, you do, with
As
the
amended.
changes amended. Second?
All right, I have a motion made by Councilmember Dugo, second by Councilmember Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, at this point in time, we're opening comments from the public for agenda items only. Anyone wishing to speak for any agenda items, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. All right, seeing none, we are now moving on to special business. Our first order of business today is National Custodian Day. And this team does a great job throughout the city. You might see them running around from building to building. We have Tracy, Tom, Andy, and Gerardo. And today we have Tom back here. He has been with us long before me. And you may recognize him by the beard.
Nope.
But if you don't, that means you're not attending our events, and you should be at all of our events. But Tom, thank you so much for everything that you do. I remember when my first year when I was elected, we were doing a fundraiser in the city, and Tom, you were there every single day, making sure that those people that were providing donations were helped. And I'm pretty sure that you work way over 40 hours those 2 weeks. And I am extremely thankful for everything that you do for the city, your dedication, and that echoes to Tracy, Andy, and Gerardo. So please say thank you to them. We truly appreciate everything you do. All right, I'm gonna come down. Anybody else wishing to join me, please. Can we take a picture with you too? Do you mind?
Yay!
All right, the next order of business is a proclamation for the 90th anniversary of Palm Beach State College. Today we have Barbara Cipriano, Provost at the Lake Worth campus, and also Ronnie Malave, Dean of Student Services, to receive the proclamation. If I can have our city clerk, please read the proclamation.
Proclamation of the City Council of the City of Green Acres, proclaiming November 2023 as the 90th anniversary of Palm Beach State College. Palm Beach State College was founded in 1933 as Florida's first public two-year college and has continuously served the educational needs of Palm Beach County residents for 90 years. Just as a junior college, then as a community college, and today as a state college, the City of Green Acres honors the 90th anniversary of Palm Beach State College with appreciation for its vital role as a provider of excellence in education, career training, and as a driver of economic mobility in partnership with our community. Therefore, the City of Green Acres do hereby proclaim the month of November 2023 as the 90th anniversary of Palm Beach State College. Thank you.
Let's have everybody take a step forward so we can kind of, squeeze everybody in. And then maybe if we can have, if you can go around to the other side, actually get to, there we go. Yep, thank you. And can we lower the proclamation, or not the proclamation, but the sign a little bit lower? Thank you. All right, and looking at this camera, really can't see you in the back there. Yeah. Actually, if you guys can hold that closer together and then have the two ladies come on either side there. Yes? Yeah, come on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. No, actually, yep, I'm gonna have you go on the other side of, everybody move to the, keep on going this way, keep on going. Squeeze in there, get in there, come to the front, We're gonna lose you in the back, okay, just keep on moving, keep on going, there we go, perfect. All right. Okay, and smile, perfect, good. I'm gonna take a couple, so keep on looking at my camera only, and then I'll let the paparazzi go. Okay, and good, all right. You want to go this way?
Yeah, let me grab this. So Mayor and council members, thank you so much for celebrating this with us. 90 years, 1933. We're so honored and excited to have you as neighbors, partners in our education system, and so happy to work together. I know that we're doing a lot of business. We've done a lot of business with your fire chief, Chief Fuller. We're doing a lot of employee training. And here, we're just so happy that we have this opportunity to be here. And I want to know if anybody here is an alumni. How many of you are Panthers? All right, yeah, great job. So you're a Panther dad. I love it. I think, Chief Fuller is too, right? Panther dad, right? And so, that's the, Panther motto. So we have just a token of our appreciation for this today, a little reminder, put it on your desk, reminder of our relationship in 90 years. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
That's the next one, Mayor.
Two more, right?
Is the next one?
Yeah. We have.
Weird. All right. All right, for our next business item is proclamation for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and today we have Lisette LaHose from Promise Fund of Florida. If I can have our city clerk please read the proclamation.
Proclamation of the City Council of the City of Green Acres proclaiming October 2023 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Every year, too many Americans are touched by the pain and hardship caused by breast cancer. Breast cancer is one of the leading causes of cancer-related deaths in women. The National Breast Cancer Awareness Month honors all those who lost their lives to breast cancer and recognizes the courageous survivors who are still fighting this disease. It is important to support and educate women about the disease, as well as giving them access to screenings and treatment. Therefore, the City of Green Acres do hereby proclaim October 2023 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Green Acres and encourage all citizens to join in activities that will increase awareness to prevent breast cancer. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to thank the mayor and the city of Green Acres for allowing us this opportunity, and our board of directors for the Promise Fund of Florida, and our founder, Nancy Brinker. We would like to thank each of you for this proclamation to make aware of October Breast Awareness Month. We are in the community, we are bridging the gap, and we want to make sure that no woman has, or all the women of Palm Beach County has access to breast screening. So thank you for having us. We provided some information for each member here, so we're hoping that you pass that information to other people. And thank you very much for having us tonight.
All right. Our next proclamation is Community Planning Month, and we have Denise Malone, Director of Development and Neighborhood Services, receiving. If I can have our city clerk please read the proclamation.
Proclamation of the City Council of the City of Green Acres proclaiming October 2023 as National Community Planning Month. The celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of planning, other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the City of Green Acres. We recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners of the City of Green Acres and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by those professionals. Therefore, the City of Green Acres do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 as Community Planning Month in the City of Green Acres. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and council members, for recognizing and celebrating the role that planning plays in creating those places that we desire and that we love. I have with me our newest member of the planning team, Gianni Geller, who is our senior planner, and we look forward to going ahead of and doing all of these wonderful things that you guys have in store for us with planning. So we appreciate this recognition, and we look forward to the future that Green Acres has. Thanks.
Welcome to the team. All right, our next proclamation is Fire Prevention Week, which is October 8th to the 14th. And today we have our Chief, Brian Fuller, receiving the proclamation. If I can have our city clerk please read the proclamation.
The proclamation of the City Council of the City of Green Acres proclaiming October 8th through the 14th, 2023 as Fire Prevention Week. This October represents the 101st anniversary of Fire Prevention Week. The 2023 Fire Prevention Week theme, Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape, promotes promotional life-saving messages that can mean the difference between life and death in a fire. Developing a home escape plan with all members of the household and practicing it regularly ensures that everyone knows what to do when the smoke alarm sounds and uses their time wisely. The City of Green Acres therefore proclaim October 8th through the 14th as Fire Prevention Week in the City of Green Acres and urge all citizens to develop a home fire escape plan and support the many public safety activities offered by Green Acres Fire Rescue during the Fire Prevention Week. Thank you.
Thank you for having us tonight. A term you might not be aware of, although it's fire prevention, is becoming more popular, is community risk reduction. And really what fire prevention does is, and over the years with promoting sprinklers and removing the hazards in the structures is you know, only 15% of what we do is actual fires. 85% is more medical, the car crashes, as you all know. But a term you'll start hearing a lot more, and you'll start seeing in the budget books and some of our goals and objectives is community risk reduction. And Tyler Walwork is our assistant fire marshal, and he spent a lot of time this last weekend in conjunction with community services doing some things for the elderly and fall prevention and things like that. And so that's a large part of that program. We appreciate everyone having us tonight. Thank you.
All right, and our last proclamation of the evening is Florida Government Week, which is October 16th to the 22nd. Today we have our youth program supervisor, Benjamin Dexter II. If I could have our city clerk please read the proclamation.
Proclamation of the City Council of the City of Green Acres proclaiming the week of October 16th through the 22nd, 2023 as Florida City Government Week. City government is the government closest to the people and the one with the most direct daily impact upon residents. City government provides services and programs that enhance the quality of life for residents, making their city their home. Florida City Government Week is a very important time to recognize the significant role played by city government in our lives and to spread the word to all Floridians that they can shape and influence this level of government, which is closest to the people. Therefore, the City of Green Acres do hereby proclaim October 16th through the 22nd as Florida City Government Week and encourage all Florida city officials to support this celebration by participating in the My City, I'm Part of It, I'm Proud of It activities. Thank you.
You guys can sit down. Yes. As always, I want to thank the council, the mayor, for you guys' support for our youth programs. Every time we do City Government Week, we find new ways to try to get our young people to see how beautiful our city is. And then we also get in return to see our young people come back to our program. So with this, we just continue to hope that we do you guys proud, and we continue to get your support. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I know that took a little bit of time, but I always think it's so important to recognize the work of the people in our community, so I think it was time well spent. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
All right, I have a motion made by Councilmember Tharp, second by Councilmember Busquets. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that motion carries
Yeah.
5-0. All right, moving on to a regular agenda is, next item is 11, quasi judicial public hearing for resolution 2023-17. If I can have our city clerk please read the resolution by title.
Resolution 2023-16, approving the petition for a special exception to allow a fast food drive-through restaurant in a commercial intensive zoning district located within the Riverbridge Center on the southwest corner of Flores Hill Boulevard and South Jog Road, as requested by the petitioner Andrew Savage, owner, agent for the owner Publix, providing for repeal of conflicting resolutions and providing for an effective date.
And this is a continuation of our September 18th meeting. So we have our Director of, let me find it, it's long. Development and Neighborhood Services, Denise Malone, presenting.
Thank you, Mayor. Since the last time that we were before you, staff has been working with Chick-fil-A representatives to come up with the conditions of approval that would be amenable to both parties. We do have before you a copy of those in strike-through underline version as well as clear version. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Tanya to provide more information regarding that and where we go from here.
Excellent. And our city attorney, at this point, should we do the swearing in and then the ex parte communication?
Yes, Mayor, I was I was rudely interrupting Ms. Malone to advise you to please have the witnesses sworn and have the council members polled.
Excellent. All right. So if I can ask our clerk to administer the oath?
Those who will be providing testimony, please stand and raise your right hand. And do you affirm that in testimony that you're about to provide the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
All right. Now I'm asking the council to disclose any ex parte communication. I'm going to start from my left. Councilmember Bousquet?
None.
Councilmember Diaz?
None.
Councilmember Dugo?
None.
None for myself.
None.
Deputy Mayor Noble? None. And then Councilmember Tharp?
None.
All right, and so now we are asking are we doing the applicant, or are we gonna have you, Denise, do the presentation?
Mayor, if we can, I think the applicant, they can, if anything, the applicant can come up and just explain kind of where we are, submitted conditions of approval, and then I think that we can go over the conditions of approval that our city attorney has prepared in response and what's being, excuse me, what's being presented this evening.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Savage with Bowler Engineering, representing the client located at 1900 Northwest Corporate Boulevard, Boca Raton. I appreciate your time this evening, and as Andrea mentioned, or Denise mentioned, my client and the city's attorney have been coordinating the past 2 weeks to go through these conditions of approval to make sure everyone is comfortable with these terms and trying to get them approved. Happy to answer any questions you have. I'm the civil engineer for this project, so these are more so in the lawyer's hands now, but obviously happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you.
Do we want to go through this real quick? I think
Right, you had an interest in looking at the conditions. Not sure if you'd prefer. I do have both on the screen as well, the strike-through version as well as the clean version.
do we want to go over the highlights?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we all want to go through that, right?
Right, so actually, I will do the clean. So the first condition, A, essentially indicates that the operator shall maintain traffic flow at all times. That doesn't cause backup. So with that, the condition indicates that traffic control measures are implemented when vehicles from the restaurant site become stacked or back up into the drive aisle of the actual parking lot itself, or from the parking lot of adjacent facilities such as the neighboring areas, ingress and egress points, to facilitate the safe and efficient movement of traffic within the center drive aisle and parking lot area. It assumes that there are no oversized cars. It can accommodate 36 cars, assuming that there's no oversized cars,
and that there would not be excessive spacing between those. So at all times, the operator shall monitor those drive-through lanes. Condition B indicates that the operator will provide a sufficient team to conduct the monitoring of those conditions, direct appropriate stacking of the vehicles, and also direct additional vehicles to the on-site parking area, which is within the River Bridge parking lot just south of the Chick-fil-A site. That would be during the peak hours or whenever it was required to make certain that there wouldn't be an adverse interference with the drive aisles within River Bridge, as well as the traffic circulation of the parking lot and River Bridge itself. Condition C talks about the operator and River Bridge should work together to seek additional parking to be provided within the River Bridge Center if needed, to make sure to maintain that improved traffic flow at the restaurant site. D calls for the operator to take reasonable measures to prevent truck deliveries during peak hours of operation, again, to alleviate, excuse me, additional circulation issues, especially during peak hours when the drive-throughs are being used heavily. The next condition should say E. In the event that the city manager designee determines that the operation is failing to satisfy the conditions as indicated and desired, that the operator may be required to implement additional or modified traffic control measures as reasonably necessary, and they could be the following, but are not limited to it. Use of restaurant parking lot, except for the handicap spaces, for the drive-through circulation during the peak hours, with at least 17 spaces designated as reserved parking within the River Bridge Center. And those would be only for the restaurant customers. Number 2, additional directional traffic markings and signage to be provided. 3, requiring that at least twice a year, the operator have the restaurant operations and the drive-through assessed to make sure that the operations are being managed effectively. And if not, there are further measures taken to ensure that. The operator should implement the recommendations of the corporate team to further enhance traffic flow, not only within River Bridge Center, but also on the restaurant site itself. And then 4, such other measures as the operator, city manager, or designee agree to in writing. And then condition number F deals with enforcement of these conditions. To the extent that the city determines the conditions are not met or are failing to timely correct them, then the city may pursue any and all legal remedies necessary to enforce those conditions, which could include code compliance and injunctive relief. The last condition, number F, is the one that we last were up until right before 6 o'clock, working with the applicant on. I'm not sure if there has been any feedback regarding that condition from your team yet, but these are the conditions that staff is forwarding as our final conditions that we would like to have on the project.
Mayor.
Just to add to that, I did speak with the Publix and Chick-fil-A clients and lawyers today, and they feel good about these conditions. I think there might have been like a word here or a word there that they wanted to just modify. So I think we're at the 1 yard line. So I think that's kind of where we're at with these conditions.
Mayor, may I?
Does that conclude the presentation?
Yes, that
All right.
concludes a formal presentation.
At this point in time, I'd like to open questions or comments from the council. Anyone have any questions? Councilmember
Mayor.
Bousquet.
Yeah, item D, I mean, it says the operator shall take all reasonable measures to prevent truck deliveries. I think that's a little weak. I think it should be the operator shall prevent truck deliveries at the site location during peak hours. I mean, turn them away if it's going to interfere with the flow of traffic or the plaza.
Councilmember Dugo.
Well, I understand what Councilwoman Bousquet says, but it would be difficult to stand there and say, this is a truck for Chick-fil-A and this is a truck for Publix. So but I do get the point, and I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Savage, your staff, your attorneys, our staff, for all the effort. And I am very comfortable with this, and I'm not sure if I can make a motion at this point.
Well,
You have to close.
I mean, you can, we have to, you can always make a motion, but we still have to do comments from the public. This is a public hearing, and I would like to hear what the rest of the council has to say.
I'll make a motion, put it on the floor, and you guys can go from there.
All right, so I have a motion made by Councilmember Dugo. Is there a second?
I would like to reply to Mrs. Dugo's comment.
Well, hold on, I have a motion. Do I have a second at this point? All right, I have a second by Councilmember, Deputy Mayor Noble. At this point in time, I'd like to continue on comments or questions from the council. I have Councilmember Tharp and then Deputy Mayor Noble.
So, Ms. Bousquet, I agree with you, but part of me thinks that there's no way Chick-fil-A is going to allow their staff to be interrupted by delivery trucks during operations, because their goal is to get people in and out. So I was a hospitality major in college, so got a little bit of memory about those days. So I don't think, while it's a concern, I don't think it's really going to come to fruition, because their goal is to get people in and out of traffic. Wanted to echo Ms. Dugo's comments to staff, to our attorney, to Mr. Savage, to the Publix attorneys. This has been a long journey. I think I agree with you. I think we're there. I think with the 1 yard line, I look forward to having you in the city.
Deputy Mayor Noble.
Unless I'm mistaken, what I see here is, what I'm glad is a provision that I had brought up at the last meeting, that the city has control, and that if things are not working out right, we can close the operation down and rediscuss the problems. So I'm glad that's included.
Councilmember Diaz.
I would like to commend both Publix and Chick-fil-A. Thank you. You listened to the concerns that we had. It's not always easy to get to this point, and we've been struggling to get to that 1 yard line for sure, but we are there. And I really, above all, want to say that I have to agree with my fellow council member Tharp, not only, from the hospitality side, but from the delivery person side. I'm pretty sure they know how, with Chick-fil-A, sometimes it gets a little crazy. So I'm hopeful they would avoid delivering during those peak hours as well. But, and if the company is willing to do what it takes to mitigate that circumstance, it's here in writing. I think you've really put forward a great good faith effort to kind of meet us in the middle. And that's the art of compromise, is nobody gets exactly what they want. So thank you very much.
I wasn't suggesting.
Councilmember Bousquet.
I wasn't suggesting that Publix manage the deliveries. I was suggesting that Chick-fil-A do that. That being said, since nobody seems to agree with me, I'll make a motion.
We already have a motion on the floor, unless you're going to make a second motion.
No, I'll second the motion.
Okay, so
Mayor, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I apologize, but I need the council to know exactly what staff's recommendations are, and before you go any further. So first of all, before any vote is taken, I would request that you do accept public comment. And then secondary to that, I'll note that although the document that's on the screen, if you scroll up, you'll see it's entitled Proposed Conditions of Approval. If you look at the resolution that's before you for resolution, item 11, resolution 2316, the same will apply when we get to the next resolution on the agenda. There are other staff conditions that are fairly standard that staff is also recommending. So these are supplemental, and I would recommend that you reframe this title as Traffic Management Plan, which is one of the conditions recommended by staff That's part of the resolution. Staff is recommending that the applicant comply with the traffic management plan. So I just want that to be clear. These are not the only recommendations that are on the table for council to consider when approving this application.
The other conditions are in the staff report. They're the same that you've been seeing. These before you today are the ones that were being worked out. So as indicated by,
So when we're making this motion, it includes everything, is that correct?
we would ask that it include the recommendations as outlined in the staff report, including that which we discussed tonight, and relabeled as
Traffic management.
traffic management plan.
Thank you. And I just want to clarify, because there were discussions, I want to be as above board as possible and fair to the applicant as possible, because there were discussions with the applicant's attorneys regarding some of the language in item A in particular. And what was read to you was an earlier draft that says it said at all times, and the parties agreed through council anyway to limit that to during operating hours as the first part of A. So therefore, they're not required to monitor, obviously, traffic flow when the restaurant is closed.
Yeah. So, excuse me, I need to amend my motion based on staff's recommendation for approval with the modification regarding traffic control.
And I amend my second.
I want to ask our city attorney, is that language to make that motion proper, or do you want to phrase this for us?
Yeah, thank you.
Mayor, I can make a recommendation, although I think that the language was almost perfect.
Wow.
But I can make a recommendation. It would be something like a motion to approve the application with staff recommendations, including the proposed traffic management plan as presented. And I will also note that the applicant indicated that, or the applicant's representative indicated that there's no objection to anything that was discussed thus far today, correct?
That's correct. And like I said, there might be still one word that might still need to be tweaked. But
Okay.
yeah, aside from that, everything's good.
Okay, so do you want me to rephrase that again? Okay, so,
I got it,
okay, perfect.
I think. Okay, I'm going
Okay.
to try this one more time, and then she's going to do this. So I need to amend my motion with approval of the staff to accept this agreement, oh my God, with, no, I'm sorry, I'm going to let the attorney make this motion for me. I can't read my writing.
Mayor, again, I can't make the motion.
No,
I can
I
only
know.
recommend some language, and it would sound something like this. A motion to approve the application with all of staff's recommendations to include the traffic management plan
Okay.
as presented to council today.
Okay. Motion to approve, motion to approve with the staff's, with all the staff's agreements and provisions, and to include the traffic management control by the applicant, and the applicant does not object to any of the language discussed, except perhaps one word that needs to be changed. If that isn't good enough, I'm done. Someone else can make this. Oh, my God.
I think it's clear.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a second?
I adjust my second to the new approved.
Okay, so I have a motion by Councilmember Dugo, second by Deputy Mayor Noble. With that being said, I'd like to make a couple of comments, and then I'm going to call for a public hearing. I don't like to approve something with just one word to be changed. That's up in smokes. I don't know what that means. I may not like that word. So I would prefer not to have a motion with a word up in the air. So if it's gonna be final, I think we need to finalize it now. So that's my comment about the word up in the air. I'm a little worried that this doesn't address, overflow of the drive-through. I think the attorneys did a wonderful job at making it like we're addressing something, but not quite, such as the designee may agree to in writing. So they may not. And then how do we then come to an agreement? But I like the work that we did. I thank our staff for doing that work. I would hope that the council would reconsider making this motion with this word up in the air. And I need to know exactly which word we're discussing here.
And just to clarify, when I spoke with the lawyers today, they said there might be a word in here that they may need to expand upon to help clarify.
Which word is that? Is there a specific wording, a sentence, a paragraph, an item?
Off the top of my head, I think, for instance, like the operator in item A, I think they might want to expand on who the operator was, for example.
So then if we can readdress the motion to just be as proposed today, rather than leaving it up in the air, is that something that we should address, City Attorney?
Mayor, let me just be clear about something. Staff and attorneys for the city and attorneys for the applicant have been in contact, but at the end of the day, it's up to this council to determine what the conditions are. So I didn't mean to muddy the waters by asking the applicant a question. I just wanted to get that on the record. It doesn't need to be part of the motion. It's up to the council what you want to accept or not accept.
But I think I think what I'm concerned about is when the motion was made, the person that made the motion mentioned that there was one word up for grabs, and I'm wondering if that could backfire on us later. So I just want to be clear about the language that we're approving today, without having to approve having embedded that that there might be a change in the wording.
So, Mayor, what's before you on the screen is essentially staff's recommendations.
So we're approving staff recommendations.
That would be, again, I can state the motion as simply as I can possibly put it. It would be something like a motion to approve the application with staff's recommendations to include the traffic management plan as presented on the screen. Obviously, we would go back and we would amend the language to make sure that it matches about the hours, but that doesn't need to be part of the motion. That's informational for the council.
Okay. So my question is, did we say that exactly in the motion?
No, I didn't say that exactly in the motion because I had, except for a word. So I'm amending my motion to leave that particular phrase out based on staff's recommendation.
Excellent. Good? Okay, and then I did want to clarify for my ex parte communication, subsequently after the meeting on 9/18/2023, I did have a meeting with the applicant, Publix, City Manager McHugh. Were you in that meeting? You were? Yeah, so there was a meeting held with the applicant, and so I was part of that meeting. So I did remember that occurred, so I'm disclosing that now. I see that Councilmember Diaz does have a comment, and then I have Deputy Mayor Noble.
It's a question, really, just so, because there was a little bit of back and forth, so now I'm a little confused, so I want to make sure that I'm understanding. If this is passed tonight by the council, the verbiage that is in this plan remains, is that correct? So if there is a question after this point from the applicant about a specific word, that cannot be changed after it is voted on today?
Mayor, may I answer?
Yes, you sure can, and you don't have to refer to me as mayor every time.
Thank you. Sorry, I love formality, excuse me. So basically, what's being approved now is, that's going to be it. There's not going to be any more negotiation after tonight.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I have Deputy Mayor Noble.
We must remember this is a work in progress situation. Even after we sign it or whatever we say, unknowns will come about. But the asset that we have is the fact that our city manager can stop the program, sit down, bring everybody together, and work out that whatever difficulty there is. So I don't know how technical we want to be. I know maybe we should be very technical, but don't expect it to be perfect.
Councilmember Tharp.
On a rare occasion, Mr. Noble, I will 100% agree with you. I think.
On a rare occasion.
Item C, which will become, item E, in the event the city manager designee determines that the operator is failing to satisfy the conditions. I think that's our caveat in that. So I don't have an issue moving forward knowing that somebody from city staff is going to be overseeing this if it becomes an issue. But again, I'm thinking, I've never seen 36 cars in a Chick-fil-A. If there's 36 cars outside that opening week, there's a bigger problem, and Chick-fil-A is on top of it. I work near one in Delray at Linton and Federal, and that thing it's busy. And they don't fit 36 cars, but they should. And if we can fit 36 cars, I don't really see an issue.
Any comments or questions from the council? Seeing none, at this point in time, I'd like to open public hearing for, lost my document. Here we go. For Resolution 2023-16, anyone wishing to speak in favor of the resolution, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak in opposition of the resolution, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. All right, I have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Dugo, second by Deputy Mayor Noble. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries 5-0. All right, so now we have the second quasi-judicial public hearing, which is Resolution 2023-17. If I can have our city clerk, please read the resolution by title.
Resolution 2023-17, approving a site and development plan to allow for the proposed Chick-fil-A fast food restaurant with drive-through. The site is located within the River Bridge Center on the southwest corner of the intersection of South Jog Road and Forest Hill Boulevard. The project consists of 4,680 square foot restaurant with one drive-through lane and a bypass lane that will be utilized to provide a service during peak hour demand, as requested by the petitioner Andrew Savage, agent for Real Sub LLC, providing for appeal of conflicting resolutions and providing for an effective date.
All right, once again, this is a continued item from the meeting of September 18, 2023. We have already done we administered the oath. We've already disclosed ex parte communications. Is there any additional information that we want to present about this item?
No, just that it's my understanding, legal too, that these conditions, the traffic management plan, we would also include those as the site plan conditions. So we have the staff recommended conditions. There's 23 of them. This would become number 24. So staff would be recommending all 24 conditions to be placed on the site plan.
Are there any comments or questions from the council at this time? All right, at this point in time, I'd like to open public hearing for Resolution 2023-17. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the ordinance, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. All right, seeing none, anyone wishing to speak in opposition of the ordinance, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. All right, public hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion?
Okay, I'm a glutton for punishment. Motion to approve Resolution 2023-17 with all 24 items as per staff's recommendation.
All right, I have a motion made by Councilmember Dugo, second by Deputy Mayor Noble. Any other comments or questions from the council? Seeing none. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that motion carries 5-0. I'm happy to welcome in Chick-fil-A to the city. Thank you. All right, now we're moving on to Resolution 2023-41. If I can have our city clerk please read the resolution.
We removed the item, Mayor.
Oh, we pulled, I'm sorry, I apologize. This will be coming at a future meeting, so thank you so much. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Noble, for keeping me in check. So our next item, item 13, is going to be comprehensive plan of the EAR GOP review, which is, it's going to be done by our Director of Development and Neighborhood Services, Denise Malone.
Mayor, council members, the item before you is the comprehensive plan evaluation and appraisal review, goals, objectives, and policies. Essentially, this is in preparation. We will be bringing all of the documents, the EAR-related documents, to you at a transmittal hearing coming up. Just wanted to afford an opportunity to give you a glimpse into the goals, objectives, and policies with the strike-through underline version. Staff is continuing to work on these and will be bringing them forward in the transmittal documents. Again, the comprehensive plan is a larger scale view, putting forward the, through goals, objectives, and policies, the desired future of the city. So we are heavily engaged in finalizing these documents. The comprehensive plan, as you've seen it in the past, has all of the data and analysis included with the goals, objectives, and policies. All of that has been included as the comprehensive plan. Anytime a change to the language within that requires a state review process. We are recommending that the goals, objectives, and policies be separated out from what we're calling the support document, which is all of the data and analysis. So when you see this document coming forward at transmittal, you will see those separated out. So going forward, staff would be recommending that the actual comprehensive plan include the goals, objectives, and policies in a map series of those required maps to support the GOPs. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity. I know there's been interest in seeing a little bit of the draft form. That's what this was intended to do, to give you a glimpse into what you're going to be seeing through the formalized process. We will be bringing this to you through a official public hearing, transmittal hearing, coming up at the next meeting, is what we're anticipating. So I wanted just to get your feedback if there was anything that was hugely missed you thought at this point. Again, you will have the opportunity to review all of the material before the transmittal hearing and also have that dialogue at that meeting as well. That's all. That concludes my remarks at this point.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Noble.
I had an opportunity to look at some of the literature that was included in our packet related to this issue. And these changes to the comp plan obviously are very complex and very much involved and in very great detail, and they have to be accurate. Are you planning to earmark a large section of our meeting to cover your issue when you bring it up? Or are you going to figure out some abbreviated method that won't be too involved?
Yes, I'll bring it forward to you and can go through the actual strike-through underline language to whatever degree your desire is. It is a very involved document. There's a lot to it. But certainly, my thought is to give an overview of what the changes are for each of the individual elements, and then we would have an opportunity to dive closer into it at the public hearing, following, your desire as to what extent you want to go over.
Would we have to
But it
pass
will
upon
be
it at
available.
that particular meeting, or would it be put off until, it could be put off? Would we have to pass upon what you're presenting at
you
that
ca-
meeting?
It's a transmittal hearing. You can choose to postpone that at that time to a time certain if you feel that you want more input or have further questions or anything that staff would need to look into. You have that option at that time.
Thank you.
Is there any,
When is it scheduled?
We have some questions. We'll go in order. Councilmember Tharp.
Question regarding what do you think the transmittal date is going to be?
So the next meeting is October 16th. We can look to bring it to you on the 16th or the meeting after that.
Follow up before that then. So if it's the 16th, when do you think we would have a copy to review? And I know this is a huge document. I know it's complex. So is it what's in the packet, is that pretty close? Or do
So
you think
you
it's going to be?
The packet for the goals, objectives, and policies has the main items, the main elements, excuse me. You will see other elements like intergovernmental coordination, those that we haven't changed as much. Did create an intro and administration element, very simple. So what you see in your packet today with the GOPs does represent the larger part of what you will be seeing at Transmittal.
Okay, thank you.
Is this something that we can do a workshop and talk, have dialogue amongst the council? Because that's really where I've been trending to do. I mean, I think this is a large, big document for us to just go on a vote for transmittal. So if I can get consensus from this council to do a workshop just on the comprehensive plan, that would be great. I'm going to start to my left. Councilmember Busquets?
Yes.
Councilmember Susie?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize to you. Councilmember Dugo, Deputy Mayor Noble?
A workshop on the same day as we're having a regular meeting.
No.
No. I don't think that's what we're looking for.
Are you saying that we should have a separate meeting, those who
Yes.
just suggested? A separate meeting just for this?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a big thing. I mean, it's a big deal.
Fine, okay, I agree to that also.
I'm in agreement.
Tharp, okay. All right, are there any other questions from the council regarding this item?
Should we try to
Well-
pick a date?
Well, I was going to have our city manager figure out a good date. Is that something we want to do today, or is that something that you will email us, City Manager McHugh?
We can, I'm assuming 6 PM, we're looking for a 6 PM timeframe, not an afternoon or anything, 6 PM, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
I would prefer afternoon.
Most of us work,
Everybody
so.
works.
Really?
I know I do. I got bills to pay, yes.
Okay. All right, we'll look at the calendars and pull a date together and
Thank
send
you.
out. Okay.
Thank you. So there's no other comments or questions in this item?
No.
Anything else, Director?
No, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we're moving on to discussion items. There are none tonight. Our next item is comments from the public on agenda items. On non-agenda items, anyone wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. All right, seeing none, moving on to our city manager's report. City Manager McHugh.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of reminders on some upcoming events. We do have a community conversation on the 11th of this month, and actually with all the rain, the timing is appropriate. How to escape a sinking vehicle at the community center from 6:30 to 8 PM, again on the 11th of October. Our Dillman Trail, we're ready for the ribbon cutting in coordination with the TPA and also Choley Lake Elementary. We will have that on the 18th at 7:30 in the morning at the trail. There is more information to come on that. We're going to be hosting a trunk or treat. PBSO will be having that on the 19th of October from 5 to 8 PM at the community center. Additionally, the city of Green Acres was selected by PBSO as the location for their National Night Out Against Crime. So we will be hosting that countywide event on the 20th of October from 5 to 8 PM at Community Park. And then read for the record, that's a big one. It's going to be the 26th of October. The city of Green Acres is itching to win that, so we are looking for volunteers, and hopefully we'll be able to come out on top on that, and that's the 26th. There will be more information to come on that. That's all I have.
Thank you, City Manager. Are there any comments or questions for our city manager? All right. Our next item is the attorney's report. Today we have a city attorney, Tanya Early.
I don't have anything to report. I just want to thank the council for your patience with me and for being so wonderful in working through these last two hearings.
I think we should say thank you to you.
I was just going to say, I wanted to thank her.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
my
no,
gosh.
no, thank you for clarifying. We really appreciate that.
Definitely, girl.
Unfortunately, we don't have any attorneys on the day, so we definitely need you. Are there any comments or questions for our city attorney? Nope. All right, thank you. And then we're going to do our mayors and city councils report. I'm going to start to my right, Councilmember Tharp.
Thank you. So I had the pleasure of attending the Senior Health and Resource Fair this past weekend. So Director Thompson, if you could please thank Nicole King and staff. It was a great event. It was a well-attended event. Lots of great information. As we were discussing transportation, Florida Department of Transportation was there with some of their plans and what they're moving forward with. And the fire rescue left, but I wanted to give them a shout out. So there was an attendee who was getting a screening done at the Wellington Regional table. Blood pressure was a little high, so fire rescue. She walked over, did some basic checks. I know they ended up transporting her to the hospital. But it's a great sign that the community coming together and how well these events benefit the community. So Chief Fuller, you're not here, but thank you. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Noble.
Nothing.
Councilmember Dugo.
So I just want to thank again the attorney and Tanya. Thank you very much. But I want you to know how proud I am when I hear all of the events that we have going on and all the hard work that our staff does to get to good conclusions. I am just really proud to be part of this, and I just want to thank everyone.
Thank you. Councilmember Diaz.
Thank you. I just want to echo Councilmember Tharp's comments, and congratulations to Nicole. Please pass, Ms. King, please pass that along. The vendors were all incredibly happy, and it's really nice to see. We had a very good attendance, and the seniors really walked away with some great information. A lot of myths were busted, a lot of information that they can really use moving forward. So I'm so grateful and thankful that we did that event for our seniors. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Busquet.
Nothing. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, for the mayor's report, I thought there was something I want to talk to.
Oh, you couldn't forget.
No, I remember. Recently, I think last week, we hosted the county commissioner, the District 3 county commissioner at the city, and we talked about a few different things regarding the city. One of the main topics was the penny surtax, which I think we spoke briefly about that here, I think at the last meeting. So it's interesting. There are 4 different groups that want the money. So you have a water conservation surtax that's being floated. Municipalities are interested. Then you have the school district who I've heard wants to go for the full penny themselves. And then you have some county staff or administration that would be interested in a transportation surtax. So once again, there's a lot of talks about this one penny and what to do with it. There could even possibly be more than one penny being floated out there. So just wanted to bring that up to the council, because that is something that's swirling out there. I understand, and I wasn't at the League of Cities, so I apologize I couldn't make it. But I believe at the League of Cities it was also discussed. If there was somebody there that could add a little bit more, yep.
That's my understanding, that the League Board did direct the staff to bring forward a resolution for the continuation of the 1 penny surtax as it is today, with the half of the penny going to the school board, the 30% going to the county, and then the other 20% being divided equally amongst the municipalities.
So that would be keeping it status quo. keeping it
Correct,
same.
correct.
Yeah, so there's a lot of discussion happening about this 1 penny surtax and what the money's going to be used for. So I just wanted to bring that up. All right, that concludes the mayor's report. Anything else? No? Meeting's adjourned.